Hello and welcome back to American Classic Tour TV. I'm your host JD Conroy, and on today's episode we're going to take a look at a brand new release coming in September of 2020, and that's our Grand Tetons, Yellowstone, and Glacier National Park Tour. Now we call this tour American Majesty because it's home to some of America's oldest, grandest, most iconic national parks, including Grand Tetons National Park, Yellowstone National Park, and Glacier National Park. But before we take a detailed look at the itinerary, I have a few quick notes. The first is, if you sign up for this tour by September 6th and you mention that you watched this episode of Tour TV, we'll give you $200 off your tour. This is an exclusive Tour TV discount. The second thing is, if you have not done so already, if you could hit the red rectangular subscribe button that sits just in the right hand corner right below this video. This is the best way to ensure that you'll be notified quickly when we do these exclusive Tour TV discounts. So let's take a look at the itinerary. This map here shows the general area of the country we're going to be traveling in. We're going to be in northwest Wyoming and kind of western Montana. Like any American Classic tour, your tour will begin with a free home pickup at your front door. Your limousine driver will bring you to the airport where you'll be met curbside by an American Classic Tour staff member who will lead you inside to a private group AIRLINE check-in. Together with your tour director and the rest of your group, you'll fly to the charming western town of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Now, the first time I ever went to this area of the country, I was 16 years old. I joined my dad. He was leading an American Classic tour to this area, and I'll never forget stepping off the plane as we flew into Jackson Hole. It was an outdoor, plane exit where we stepped out onto the tarmac, and I'll never forget stepping off that plane, breathing in the cool, crisp, fresh western air, and looking all around and being surrounded by these gigantic mountain peaks. It was one of my favorite travel memories, and you'll experience that if you come along on this tour. So we fly into Jackson Hole. Right next to Jackson Hole is Grand Tetons National Park. If I had to describe Grand Tetons in one word, it would be picture perfect. This is a beautiful national park, perhaps the most photogenic spot in the entire country. These sharp mountain peaks called the Grand Tetons here. While we're in this area, we'll take a float trip down the Snake River. We'll take an aerial tram up to the top of Rendezvous Mountain for these awesome panoramic overlooks. And we'll see the T.A. Moulton Barn. This is kind of an iconic western shot here that we'll see at Grand Tetons National Park. And of course, you'll have plenty of time to explore and enjoy the cute town of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Next up, we'll make our way to Yellowstone National Park. And if I were to describe Yellowstone in one word, it would be wild. And I mean this in a couple of ways. First of all, Yellowstone is the best place in the entire United States to spot wildlife. We'll be on the lookout for bison, for elk, for otters, for moose, for wolves, for fox, and more. Yellowstone's also home to wild or unbelievable geothermal landmarks such as the Grand Prismatic Spring, Mammoth Hot Springs, Old Faithful Geyser, the Yellowstone Falls, and the Yellowstone Grand Canyon. Yellowstone is also the oldest national park in America and widely considered to be the oldest national park in the world. It was established in 1872 when it was signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant. Next, we'll make our way to the Gates of the Mountain. This is a deep gorge in Helena National Forest on the Missouri River. And we'll follow in the footsteps of Lewis and Clark, who named Helena National Forest and who sailed on the same route we'll be sailing on this cruise. We'll enjoy awesome scenery, and we'll be on the lookout for wildlife on this cruise. Next, we'll arrive at our third and final national park of this tour, and that's Glacier National Park. And if I were to describe Glacier in one word, it would be mighty. What do I mean by this? Glacier is home to these big, gigantic mountains, these huge, mighty overlooks. It's home to pristine beauty, jagged mountain peaks, and much, much more. We'll see all of this as we travel along the iconic Going to the Sun Road, where we'll be on the lookout for grizzly bears, mountain goats, and bighorn sheep. So that's our tour to the Grand Tetons, Yellowstone, and Glacier National Park coming up next September. So if you're interested in joining us on this tour, here is all that's included. A free home pickup and return to begin and end your tour, private group airline check-in, round-trip airfare and one checked bag, 7 nights deluxe hotel accommodations, 14 meals, 7 breakfasts, 1 lunch, and 6 dinners, All attractions, tours, and admission fees are included in the price of your tour. Luggage handling throughout your tour is included. All tips and taxes, premier local guides, and the services of an American Classic Tour Director are included up front in the price of your tour. There's limited space available on this tour. We do anticipate that this tour will sell out, so don't wait too long. Sign up now while we still have space available. If you're ready to join us on this tour, the prices and the travel insurance rates are listed here below. And if you're not from the greater Chicagoland area, we have land-only prices available. It's the same exact tour. We just take out the cost of the airfare, and you can meet us at our destination airport. To make a reservation, call 847-548-3333. There's a $1,500 deposit due with your reservation, and the final payment is due on May 20th, 2020. Again, I just want to remind you, if you sign up before September 6, 2019, we'll give you $200 off your tour. This is an exclusive Tour TV discount. To see our full itinerary, visit amclassictours.com/Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, Glacier to see our full itinerary. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of American Classic Tour TV. I hope you can join us on our tour to Grand Tetons, Yellowstone, and Glacier National Park. I'll see you next time on American Classic Tour TV.